Hello, my name is Deborah Okoro David. This video is all about presentation for a marketing optimization or marketing campaign optimization that I just concluded. The project is all about increasing ROI for the return on investment, marketing return on investment, and reducing marketing costs using models, using a marketing model that is trained to identify likely subscribers and increase, as a result, increase conversion rates and increase return on investment while lowering marketing costs. So, this is a disclaimer. This project is not a paid project, but I will refer to it as if it was, because if normally this is what I would do in a paid project, right? So I will refer to it as if it is a paid project, and I would. That's the purpose of this presentation. Actually, the purpose of the presentation is to explain the result of my analysis to the bank. So this is a personal project. So for this project, I use three tools. The first, Python. Python was used for data validation, data exploration, data to check data integrity, data manipulation, and to create a predictive model that targets likely subscribers. The second tool I use is Microsoft Word. I use it to curate the full report that explains all the aspects of this analysis. So if you want, after watching this video, if you want in-depth information, kindly check the link in this video for the report. The third tool I use is Tableau. I use Tableau to create a two-page dashboard that helps explain further and in more details the result of my analysis and the impact of the model, the marketing model I created. So let's begin. So we'll start with Python. First, would I would walk you through the background of this data. The data was gotten from UCI machine learning repository. The link is in the dashboard page and also in the report. The the data set is a bank marketing data set, and it's all about the performance of previous campaigns, right? The performance of previous campaigns done by the bank. The mode of contact for these campaigns are calls, right? The bank reaches out to customers through calls, and in the data set, there was no costs, there was no marketing costs in the data set, and there was no marketing revenue, that is the money the bank made as a result of subscribing customers. So I created a business assumption whereby I made the each call that was placed to customers, I put it at 10 euros, and re- each subscription done by each customer, that is, I place it at 1,000 euros. So that's purely a business assumption. In real world, in real data sets, I would definitely work with the business rule, the business costs, the marketing costs, and the money made from customers who subscribed, right? So this this data set is from a bank marketing campaign, that is the previous campaigns they've done. And the goal for this bank is they want to reduce marketing costs and increase conversion rates, right? Their overall goal. And the good thing is they have specific business questions that they need answers to, or specific business problems that they need solution to. The first is, what customer characteristics predict term deposit subscription? Term deposit subscription is the product this bank is selling to customers, right? Is the product this bank is marketing. So the first question asks, what are the characteristics of customers who do subscribe to this product, or who do subscribe, or who buy this product, right? They want to know their characteristic to enable or to inform them in their next campaign which specific customer groups to target. So I'll be answering that in this analysis. The second question is, can we build a model to target likely subscribers? We would look into that in this analysis. And the third question is, what's the potential impact on marketing ROI? That is, after creating the model, what impact does it have on the return on investment, right? That is the revenue, on how well the customers purchase this product. We'll look into that as we go. So I'm working with three tools. So I'll be navigating between the three tools to so that we'll see all aspects of this analysis. So let's look at firstly, I imported this data. I previewed the data and carried out data validation to check the integrity of this data. Actually, this data is already cleaned, and I went I looked through the columns to understand the purpose of each columns in this data set. The overall rows, the number of rows is 45,211 and 17 columns. There were no null data in this data set. There were no null values rather, and the data set passed the integrity check. So we are good. Now, to answer the first question, to know the characteristics of customers who are most likely, or who do subscribe to this bank's product, which is term deposits, we we first need to understand the current conversion rates, which we'll call the baseline conversion rate. The baseline conversion rate is the status quo basically of the marketing conversions, right? So we'll come to Microsoft Word. This is the report, and then the baseline conversion rate from this chart is 11.7. So what this chart shows is the percentage of people who didn't convert versus the percentage of people who converted, right, in the whole data set. So we see that we have a baseline conversion rate of 11.7. What this means is, if the bank for every 1,000 customers the bank reaches out to, only 117 customers do subscribe. So when you look at that margin, it is very, very low, and it needs improvement. So we would come to Tableau to understand the characteristics of customers who do subscribe, who are likely to subscribe, and would use Tableau. We'll use Tableau. We'll check our Tableau dashboard. So this is what the dashboard looks like. It has an A4 size orientation. So first we see that, remember, the calls, the mode of contact in this campaign from by the bank, it are calls, right? So the average calls to customer are is 3.3. That's the average calls made to each customer in during the course of the previous campaign. The total number of customers are 45,211, and the total number of people who subscribed, that is after reaching out to this number of customers, the total number of people who did subscribe were 5,289, which converts to 11.7% conversion rate. But first, I segmented the customers into four groups, namely at risk customers, customers who are at risk. Are they react positively to marketing campaigns, but they are not too active, right? So these customers are at risk customers. High value and engaged customers are the ones who are active and they have, high balance, in the bank, in their bank accounts, right? The third group of customers are the low value and inactive customers. They don't really make they don't really bring much value to the bank, but and they are inactive. So these customers are very, very close to churned customers group, if not churned. And then the potential growth, these customers are active, they have a large base, and they react positively to campaigns, marketing campaigns. So for this particular chart, it's all about seeing the average calls made to each customer segment, their conversion rate, and the size of this each segment. So we see that the largest segment size is the potential growth segment, and their conversion rate is the highest at 23.9, that is 24% conversion rate. The average calls made to these three groups are 3.3, just like what we have here. But we see that low value inactive customers has higher average calls made to them. This signifies that the bank marketing team reaches out to dormant customers a lot, and this increases cost of marketing or cost of outreach without proper return on investment. We see here that their conversion rate is zero. So that's the purpose of this analysis, where we help the bank understand that this group are really not worth this investments. Imagine the number of calls we are giving on average to low value and inactive customers, when we could focus on the groups that are more open and expectant of the bank's call and are most likely going to convert. So the second aspect of this dashboard is the characteristics of customer groups that convert more. So we would explore other characteristics, but for now we want to see, we if a customer has a housing loan, they are less likely to convert compared to when they don't have housing loan. If the customer is single, they are more likely to convert compared to when they are married and divorced. If a customer has a personal loan, they are less likely to convert compared to when they don't have a housing loan. Now, this This line chart is it shows us the subscription trend. That is the number of subscription pa- in a day, in a specific day of the month. So all of these are days of the month, and we see the number of people that subscribe in a particular day. So this is the fourth of the month, and we have 230. The highest is 271, and it's day 30 of the month. And the lowest is 46 subscription per day with um on the 31st of the month. So this shows inform the marketing team in the bank which day they should prioritize marketing campaign more to be able to help them increase conversion rate and return on investment, and most especially reduce marketing costs. So you can use this graph, this line chart, as a filter to filter the whole data set to see the behavior of customers in particular days, on particular days rather. So when I click on day 12, these are some of the peak days of the month. We have day 20, day 21, day 18. Overall, the middle of the month, the middle days of the month do well in campaign, and some parts of the early days of the month and 31st or 30th of the month do well in campaigns because that's when most people subscribe. So when we want to see the characteristics of customers and their conversion rates on a particular day, we simply click on a particular day and the whole data set filters to show us everything. The conversion rate for this particular day, which is day 12, is 15.2, and we see the total customers reached are 1,604. The average call made was 3.4, and the number of subscribers were 244. On this particular day, single people convert more. The people without loan and so on, they convert more. Just like that, you get to see in-depth or granular details of the customers on that particular day, the behavior of customers on a particular day. So this distribution shows the call duration per second. That is, it is measured. The duration here are in seconds. It shows the duration in seconds, and uh, we see that from zero, the most calls made, the most duration of calls made rather are from 0 to 200 seconds, right? In the overall campaign, the average call duration is 180 seconds. We can compare high performing days, right, with the number of calls, the the average duration of calls made on a particular day. So this day that didn't perform well, what's the average call? What's the we see that low duration, was prevalent in this particular poor day, this day where many people did not subscribe. So if we check other low days, days where very low performing days, we can see how duration of calls correlates to how well customers subscribe, or how well you know customers convert. So that's that for these aspects. This area also is about the customer characteristics that determine term deposit subscription alongside other factors that we would talk about. So the occupation of the group of customers that do convert the most are students, followed by retired customers. The this when last customers in when last contacted in previous campaign, this chart simply um it simply says what this chart simply means is the last campaign we did, right? The last time a customer was contacted in the last campaign we did, what okay, let me try to phrase it in a way that we all we would all understand. So what this aspect simply mean is there were previous campaigns, right? So the last campaign we did, excuse me, and contacted some customers. When was the last time we contacted a customer? And if we contact them again, what's their conversion rate? So the customers, the last time they were contacted, were grouped into six or seven different segments, and contacted last 3 months, contacted last month, contacted 1 week ago, contacted over 6 months ago, contacted last 6 months, and so on. I segmented the time frame, right, or the recency of last contact to customers and I checked the conversion rate of each segment. So I realized that the customers who were contacted last 3 months convert more. That is, the last time that they were contacted was 3 months ago. Those group of customers, if you contact them again after 3 months, they convert more compared to the ones you contact last in the last 1 week, in the last 1 month, and so on. These are the top three segments of recency. Customer last time customer was contacted recency to show us the conversion rate. But customers convert more when the bank contact them. The last time they were contacted was 3 months ago, and they contact them again in another marketing campaign. Those customers are more likely to subscribe than when you contact them 1 week ago and you contact them again. So this simply shows marketing fatigue or marketing response fatigue, where customers just feel overwhelmed by calls and they get irritated. So what this is simply telling the bank is when you contact a customer once, wait for another 2 to 3 months before you contact them. They are likely to respond positively to your campaigns and purchase the products you are offering than when you contact them every 1 week. So moving on, the best months so far in the previous campaigns have been March, December, September, October, with very, very close margins, very, very close conversion margins between these 4 months. But the top month is March at 52% conversion rate. The education, the qualification of the customers who do convert more are the customers who have tertiary education. The second group are the ones who don't specify their qualification, but the most likely to subscribe are the ones who have tertiary education. So we've been able to explore the customer, we've been able to see the customer behavior or the behavior of customers who do subscribe to term deposits from this bank. So let's go back to the second business question, which is can we create marketing model? Can we create a model to target likely subscribers? So I'll call this model a marketing model because that's what it does. It helps for efficient marketing and promotes precision in targeting customers who are likely to subscribe. So yes, the model was built and I'll walk you through the background of the project, the model rather. The purpose of doing this is so that the bank builds confidence and trust, some level of confidence and trust in the model, because it's the model that we'll be using in future campaigns. So after training the model, I visualize the features that contribute mostly to predicting term deposit subscribers. First, would look at the feature importance charts. Those are the top 10 factors predicting term deposit subscription. So we see that duration is a huge factor here. Housing, if they have housing loan, if the contact is unknown, the month is August, that is the month that they were contacted, August, and so on. So there are many other features that contribute to helping the model for identify likely subscribers, but these are the top 10 factors or features rather. The next is our precision recall curve. So this curve shows us the correctness of our model. It has a correctness of 65, I think over 65%. And the recall simply is the coverage, that is the customers that were predicted to subscribe, how many did subscribe. So we see that our recall, the more the coverage, that is, the more our line goes to the right, the more it drops. This simply means that the the coverage, the higher the coverage, the lesser the accuracy or correctness of our model. So what this simply means is the model can be used to target the top 30 to 40%. We see that from 30 to 40%, the it is somewhere around 65 and 50%, right? So the model could target just the top 30 to 40% of likely subscribers. That is people who are likely to subscribe. But the model can also be used for mass targeting, especially not in the aspect of selling a product, but maybe like an aggressive awareness campaign. It can be used for that. But in the case of targeting likely subscribers with the aim of them purchasing a product from the bank, the the precision recall curve tells us that we are supposed to target the top 30 to 40% likely subscribers. So the other aspect is the confusion matrix. The confusion matrix shows us the performance of the model. This is the true negatives, that is the people or the customers the model predicted to not subscribe, right? These are the ones the the model predicted to that is the ones the give me a moment. These are the customers that the model rightly predicted that will not subscribe. Let me put it that way, right? And then the true positive, these are the ones that the model correctly predicted that they will subscribe. That is, the model correctly predicted that this number of customers will subscribe, and they did subscribe. So these are the true positives. And then the false negative are the ones that are actual subscribers but were missed by the model, and these are the false negatives. So we see that the false negatives and the true positive, the model predicted more true positive. That means this model has the ability to predict customers who are likely to subscribe in the future with less mistakes. And then the false positives are the ones that the model predicted as subscribers but didn't actually subscribe, right? These are the number of false positives. So overall, what this confusion matrix shows us is the overall ability of the model. And from this, we see that since the main aim of creating this model was to target likely subscribers, this and from the model performance we see that it has less mistakes compared to the ones who that it accurately predicts. Then that means this model is something the marketing team can work with. And lastly, the classification report gives us a breakdown of the precision, recall, and accuracy, overall accuracy of this model. So the precision has up to 51% correctness. The recall has that is the recall has up to 65%. It identifies 65% of actual subscribers. That's above 50%, which is okay. And it has an accuracy of up to 89%. So this shows strong performance by the model. So now that we have seen the performance of our model, we've been able to develop some trust, or we know the capability of the marketing model. We'll come back to our business question again and see, can we build a model to target likely subscribers? Now we've seen that yes, we can. And what's the potential impact on marketing return on investment? So would answer yes, we've answered partly this second question, or solved this business problem. So the next aspect will answer some part of this second question and the third question. So let's go back to Tableau, where we explore the second page of our dashboard. Now, this dashboard looks really good and it is user friendly, from the chart title to the colors to the placement of each element on the dashboard. We see that it is very, very user friendly, and it is most importantly non-technical user friendly. So as a non-technical person, when you look at this dashboard, you get insights in the blink of an eye. And that's one of my major focus whenever I create visualizations. I create visualization that are aesthetically pleasing, but at the same time, they answer the business questions, they solve business problems, and they are easy to understand. So let's go to page 2 of this dashboard, strategic marketing. So this is all about this page, this dashboard is all about showing the bank the the capability of our model, the performance of the model, what it can do, right? The promise it has for the business. So this is the predictive marketing impact and return on investment dashboard. So we have several KPIs, but let's look at this first few KPIs. So we see the customers reached, that is the top 30%. Remember, in our precision recall curve, we I mentioned that the the model maintains high efficiency and correctness when the coverage is low. That is when the recall is low. If we target fewer customers, we get higher um, potential of um, predicting or targeting actual people, the people who want to subscribe, right? So the success rate is higher when we target lesser people. So what I did was I focused on the top 30% of the customers that this model predicted to be likely subscribers. So that brings us to, instead of 45,000 customers being targeted, that brought us to 13,500 customers that were targeted. So the subscribers from the targeted marketing were 5,064. Remember, in the first page, the overview page, we have 5,200 customers that subscribe and 45,000 reached customers. But for this targeted marketing, we have 13,500 reached with 5,064 customers subscribed. Now, this simply converts to a 37.3% conversion rate as against 11.7 conversion rate. Now, you see the conversion improvement was up to 219%. So we can now see that the model actually does better compared to the previous mode of operation by the marketing team, which was mass marketing. So the revenue generated from the targeted marketing was 5,064,000 pounds or euros, and the revenue generated from mass marketing, that's the previous marketing done by the bank, was 5.2 million, right? So before we delve into this aspect, let's look at segmentation analysis that has to do with the comparison of forecasted conversion rate, and that is the predicted conversion rate using the model, and the baseline conversion rate, that is the current conversion rate, and then the value of each segment. So this area of this visualization shows the value, how valuable these segments are. So we see that our most valuable segments are the at-risk segments. So the marketing team needs to, apart from target these customers for subscription or to market a product to them, there needs to be some form of win back campaign to target this group because they are the highest valuable group in this bank and they happen to be at risk. So there should be a win back promotion campaign, win back promotion, or any form of incentive, that can bring them back and put them in the high value segment. The next most valuable is a potential growth at 18 million euros. That's what this segment is worth. They are potential growth, and these this group has the highest conversion rate. So this means that this group holds a huge level of promise for this bank. And the third is the high value engaged customers. These customers, they worth individually, they have more value, right? But because they are not much in the group, they are not plenty, they are not as plenty as the um other groups. Apart from the low value, they have 40 million, they are worth 40 million euros, and the low value inactive customers are worth just 3,400 euros. Now you see, compared to these other segments, this is really, 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 really low. So their baseline conversion rates are 20. We are already acquainted with their baseline conversion rate, but the predicted conversion rate, the potential growth, which is the highest, which has the highest conversion rate. Conversion rate simply means they respond positively more to campaigns that from the bank compared to other group. So in our predicted conversion, that's what the model predicts that this group would do, or how they will convert is they will convert from they would their conversion rate will increase from 24% to 40%, right? So that's like a over 10% increase in conversion rate. The next in line is the highly engaged customers, that is the high value and engaged customers or segment. They are likely to increase by another 10%. And this group, the at-risk customers, are likely to have their conversion rate increase by up to 8 or 7%. And from 0% conversion rates for the low value inactive customers, they are forecasted to increase by 8%. So what this means is the bank should not give up on this low value. They could be nurtured and probably rise up the funnel and find themselves in this or the potential growth. It depends on how well they were groomed. But from a business perspective also, I would advise that this business don't invest too much in this group. They should focus on these three groups because these three groups are more valuable and they hold better promises compared to this low value group. Now, we've seen how conversion rate increases because this model has helped us to convert sorry, because this model has helped us to target, likely subscribers. What this means is the bank doesn't spend a lot of money since the targeting, the reach, the marketing strategy is now a targeted marketing instead of just mass marketing. What this does is it reduces cost, and that's what this aspect is showing us. In the previous marketing, which I termed as mass marketing, we can see that the bank spends 452,000 euros, right? Because they did mass marketing. Now, this figure is as a result of our business assumption. I mentioned it earlier on, but I'll go over it again. The business assumptions, since the original data set didn't have the cost of marketing and the revenue or return on investments, right? I created this business assumption. Of course, in real business cases, it will not be these exact figures. So, but in real business cases, I can work with real business figures. That's the point. But for now, since there were no figures, I manufactured these figures for the sake of showing you the performance of the marketing model. So the cost of each call was 10 euros and 45,211 customers were targeted or were reached out to in the last campaign that wasn't so effective because this was the conversion rate. But when the model came in, it targeted the top 30% likely top 30% of customers who are likely to subscribe, and that brought the marketing cost down to 139,000 euros. So what this means is, in the targeted marketing, that is what, with the help of our model, we get to spend only 30% of the initial marketing spend. That is the initial marketing cost, the previous marketing cost, right? And that means costs dropped by 70% when we use when we use the model. So can be the same thing for any business also, right? Any business that wants to use this exact model, these improvements are what is promised: 70% drop in cost and over 200% increase in conversion rate. And lastly, this answers the last question, the last business question: what's the business impact on ROI, marketing ROI? So we see that the return on investment was 1,000% initially, but after using the marketing model, it almost tripled, or it tripled, basically tripled. And we have, with the help of our marketing model, ROI is projected to increase 3.4% times when compared to the former approach. So, yes, we've been able to solve this business problem of ROI because we see that we reduce the marketing cost and increase the amount or the revenue made from customers with the help of our model. So that's that for this analysis, showing you what I worked on and also explaining in simple words, while also navigating this very beautiful, easy to understand, non-technical, user-friendly dashboard. Right? Isn't this beautiful? So that's all for the presentation, but let's look through this aspect. So this, if you click on this, it takes you to my portfolio. My portfolio has several projects I've worked on in the past. So you can click on anyone to get more details on the project, right? Where I explain the techniques used, and additional files you can go to. And these are simply pictures of, this was the last project I did. Going back, the report, when you click on report, it takes you to Google Doc. It takes you to Google Doc where I hosted the full report. It is accessible to anybody. You can go through it as long as you click on that button. So all of the reports are here. The full report is here. And then this button is not working for now because I've not uploaded the presentation. This button takes you to this video presentation. So by the time this video is up, this button will be working. And when you click on dataset, it takes you to the UCI website that I got this data from. And then lastly, when you click on related files, it takes you to the Google Drive folder where I stored all of the files, from wireframe to tables that are linked in the report, to the full Python code, to the wireframe. There are wireframes here, to the wireframes I created for this dashboard. So I believe that's all for showing you around the dashboard. So that's all for this presentation. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it was explanatory enough. I hope you could see how we started from a business problem, the background of the business, and we slowly moved to solving that business problem and giving recommendations. Now, if you want to get the full details of this project, you are likely to get full granular details in the reports, the full report I created. So I hope this presentation was explanatory and you loved every bit of it. So that's the end of the project. But before I go, kindly note that I do work like this. I carry out marketing analysis, product analysis. If you want to understand your product, if you have a business, you're an organization, you want to understand your products, how they are performing in how your products are performing in the market. If you want to carry out sentiment analysis, if you want to carry out full revenue operations analysis also, I do all of these, right? My network is messing up. So I do all of these and kindly reach out to me. I am available on Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn, in my portfolio website. You can reach out to me through email. You can chat me directly on my portfolio website, and I would always reply to you. You can send an email also. My email address is in my my YouTube description. You can reach out to me there too. I'm available for jobs like this, contract or full time, and I work remotely also. So reach out to me if you need business answers, if you need business solutions to business problems, or if you need to actually understand the business problems you even have, because sometimes most businesses don't even know what their problem is. So reaching out to someone who is experienced, someone like me who would be able to point to you where the problems are so that you know where to start from is very, very crucial for the growth of your business and the overall growth of your organization. So, thank you again and bye. This will be my last project for the year. So, see you guys next year. Bye.